howdy, Gunslinger Posse, whenever and wherever you are. Welcome to Walk On Sports Bistro, 1400 Pantheon Way in San Antonio. Welcome to Branded on November 1st, 2023. Three top hands and a ranch boss. He's Tom Manas, the head coach and general manager of the San Antonio Gunslingers. I'm Ralph Judkins, mixing sounds and metaphors here tonight. All right, Coach, let's go.
Okay, where do you want to go? Oh, let's give some love
right there.
to...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's give some love today to Gone Country. Once again, a new one.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's the John Dutton Yellowstone version. I think it's beautiful. I want to thank Keith and the whole crew over there at Gone Country. They're really taking special care of us. We've got some great things coming down the pipe with them. Jordan, our extraordinaire.
Yeah, check out this, folks. What do you think?
Yeah,
what do you think?
That's not a bad shirt, right? Yeah. So Jordan's working with Gone
Too
Country
much
now.
We never know.
And they're coming up with some unbelievable stuff for a gunslinger line of cowboy hats.
For the team and for the fans?
Everybody.
Everybody.
It's going to be on their websites, and it's going to be available to anyone across the country who is a fan or likes the style of the hats.
Yeah, they won't even know. They don't know where the name came from unless, and then,
we'll
and then
make
they'll
sure
find
we
out.
tell them.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll make sure we tell them.
Make sure.
And of course, thanks again to the people at Walk-Ons. Once again, great. We had our tryout. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But we all came here for dinner afterwards. They took real good care of us again. And I can't tell you enough. Come down here. The food's great. The beer's cold. And the staff is super friendly. And they'll do anything in the world for you.
High level of service. Well, we've got a heck of a show tonight, don't we?
It's a crazy show. We're really lucky. I guess when you've been doing this long enough and you call in some favors or you just ask people for favors, they tend to do it. And tonight, I think this kind of breaks the mold of coaches shows by bringing in coaches from other teams because we're a fraternity. And I've been saying that since I came back into indoor football. It's a small fraternity. We ought to all look after each other. We ought to all try to help each other in any way we can for our teams to be successful, for our leagues to be successful, and more importantly, to help these young men continue on their professional football career, right? So we're lucky enough. We got Dave Mogensen from the Iowa Barnstormers, the most historic program in all of the world in indoor football. We've got Mike Davis from the Las Vegas Nighthawks, who's in his second year, I believe now, and just, doing a great job there. These are two organizations that are first class with first class coaches. I mean, they are the epitome of first class. So it's nice to be in their company. And then last but not least, we have the commissioner of the IFL, Todd Tryon, coming on to answer questions and to visit with us. So, you know what? It's just one of those great things. We're real lucky to have everybody tonight. And we listen, I want to say this up front. If you're a Gunslinger fan, if you're an IFL fan, if you're from Iowa, if you're from Vegas, I don't care where across the country, call in with questions. Call in or message in. Right? Message in with questions, and we're going to be hitting the boards hard tonight. We're making it all about you as the fans getting to know these great guys.
We already have checking in Texas Pete from Houston. We met him last week and made a believer out of him. And Susan Menace?
Yeah, I know her. Yeah,
she like the hat says, you're looking good tonight,
we
Coach.
share a bed together.
And a name.
Yeah, a name.
So, if you want to get in on it, you go ahead and put Q if you have a question for either of our coaches or for the coach here. Usually we have to chase coaches away, or you've had to chase coaches away from your coach's show. This time we're bringing them in. Better yet, though, come by in person.
Watch this. I'll bait one right now. Hey, Resignalo, call in. He likes to jump on the coach's show.
Oh yeah.
He's a great guy. He's a friend of mine, so it's good.
Yeah, come by also if you're in the greater San Antonio area in person here to Walk-Ons, because we have some giveaways we're going to be running throughout the night. You get a chance to meet the coach and other key personnel that are here and other fans.
Yeah, we got some great stuff, as always.
Are we good for our open?
I think so.
Yeah, all right.
I mean, let's get right down to it, because I know Dave's a busy guy right now this time of year. as all the coaches are. But let's bring Dave Mogensen on from the Iowa Barnstormers.
And that's what we'll do on the backside of the break here. You are watching Branded live from Walk-Ons in San Antonio, Texas. Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
Don't get left in the dark again. John Wayne has a full warehouse of standby generators ready for immediate installation. We'll keep the lights on, we'll keep your appliances running, even if you lose power. Call or text John Wayne today and don't pay anything until October 2024.
Spriester, Jimenez, Kasky, Ramirez.
Cars ramming into DPS troopers.
I do the behind the kitchen door.
Hear about the video of your DWI arrest?
Expect more at 10.
Been on the night beat.
Night on the night beat.
The Night Beat.
Honey.
And welcome back to Branded as we welcome to the show Dave Mogensen. Dave Mogensen of the Iowa Barnstormers.
Yep.
Dave, I got to say, first of all, welcome to the show. It's a prestigious organization. You can't think about indoor football without thinking about the Iowa Barnstormers, iconic logo. Team's been around since '95.
It started everything.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be indoor football if it wasn't for the Iowa Barnstormers.
Not really, yeah. 2008.
No, it's not really. It's
AF2.
the guy invented it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
2010 AFL, 2015 IFL. Jeff Lamberti, the owner, and he brought on Mogensen 2 years ago, and now we're bringing Coach Mogensen onto the show. I guess we should shut up and let him talk.
I'm used to
See
being
what I
on
deal
top,
with
not saying a whole lot, so it's not far for the court.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. So, Dave, hey, listen, one of the things that we wanted to talk to you about was we want to give you an opportunity to talk about your football team this year. We want to give you an opportunity to talk about your fans in Iowa, give you an opportunity to just kind of let us know what the Iowa Barnstormers are all about and why you're such a historic franchise.
Well, I think, first of all, thanks for having me on. You called me to do this. It was a yes. You said, hey, can you do this? Yes. That's the kind of relationship I have with Tom to come out and do this right away. So I appreciate the time to be able to talk about the Barnstormers. There are some people who may argue that the Sharks fans or the Rattler fans could have some argument, but I always tell people in recruiting pitches, if you ask 10 random people on the street or you do Family Feud style, name me an indoor football team, the chances are the number one answer is going to be the Iowa Barnstormers. We can thank Kurt Warner a lot for that. The biggest success story in the history of our game. Put him out of the Barnstormers, Iowa native, Northern Iowa. We know the story, but so we can thank him for a lot of that notoriety. But it is, without a doubt, the biggest brand in indoor football across the board, for sure.
And I got to say this, they face one of the biggest challenges. Des Moines, Iowa, population 200,000, and it's that big of a name in a town of 200,000 that it is known nationwide.
But it is the team in that town. It is the focal point, right? And that's the thing. If you haven't been there with the cowbells, let me tell you, it's crazy. And the guys who sit right by the bench drive you nuts while you're trying to coach, and they're ringing the cowbells. And
we have some fans that have been fans since 1995, still come to games. I wouldn't say they're the nicest to the opposing team. So, I wouldn't go far to say that, but they are very much into the game. They love the Barnstormers. They make sure they give hell to whoever's playing us that night. But we have a great group of fans. And I'm sure numerous ones are checking in right now just to hear a little bit of tidbit about the Barnstormers and what we're going to look like this season. But we have probably the rowdiest fans, or in the discussion for the rowdiest fans in the league.
Oh yeah, I love it. I heard a quote today from John Madden. Someone put it viral, and they said something about the Oakland Raiders when he was the coach, how they played dirty. And then they interviewed John Madden, who's the sweetest guy. He's like Santa Claus, right? And he goes, "Yeah, what are you gonna do about it?" So I kind of like the thought that, yeah, we got rowdy fans. What are you going to do about it? And I love the fact that they're proud of it too, and it's a tough place to play football games. And that's what you want. You want tough places to play, or your opponents to come in a tough environment. And, I think the world of Dave. I think he's one of the smartest football minds I've ever been around. And, he offensively, he's just tremendous. And, a lot of respect for Dave. Coached against him in college, coached against him, we coached together for a season, and then he helped us in 21 win a championship in Albany. He's a great recruiter. He was an integral part in that. And then for him to get the job in Iowa is just, I was probably as happy as he was for him. And he's got a great family. Tell us about your family real quick, because I love your family, and I love all the kids.
They're probably listening. I'm sure she's listening with my two youngest boys, and I know my dad's listening. So we have. I'm a pretty lucky guy to have the spouse I have, and my kids. She just posted
You're
an
way
awesome
lucky
picture.
to have the spouse you have. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's. Yeah, I don't like to use the puns of out picture coverage or whatever, but it's definitely my book. But
Yeah, so I mean that's the big part, is that he's got a family that supports him, and that's a critical part about coaching, is that you got to have a
huge
football
part.
wife. You got to have they got to be as supportive as you are involved in everything. So that's fantastic. So
Jim Renier, before you get started, Jim Renier chimed in saying the Barnstormers are the only team he recognizes in the entire state of Iowa for indoor football.
Yeah, Jim.
We actually have we got a whole bunch right now this year. We'll see how long the other ones last, but I'm not sure where the offices of Quad Cities are. They might technically be in Illinois, so they wouldn't count. But yeah, we got a whole bunch of people popping up in our state this year. So
yeah, I saw that.
It's going to be an interesting season, to say the least, for sure.
Yeah, I totally get that. So I got a couple different questions for you. I'm going to also ask Mike when he comes on. So I want to throw these at you real quick. Okay, so people kind of get an idea how you are. What's your favorite football movie of all time?
The program, to be honest, the program,
Oh,
the 90s college football league. When I grew up, I thought that's what college football was going to be like. Unfortunately, I didn't go to Ohio State or Michigan, and it wasn't like that, but that was my dream. So the program, without a doubt.
Oh, I love it. Okay, and then a little bit more serious question. And out of all the years you've been in football, what coach or what person influenced you the most in your career, either as a player or as a coach?
Easy question. So and unfortunately passed away in 2022 in the middle of our season, and we were on the road and I couldn't go to the funeral. But Dean Wilson was my high school head coach at Elkhorn High School in Elkhorn, Wisconsin. He's in the Wisconsin Coaches Hall of Fame. He was the guy that at one point in high school said, "You know what? You probably make a pretty good coach." And I didn't think, you're playing, you're not thinking about coaching. And it was still years down the line when I started coaching, but he was a big mentor to me, and even throughout, all the way up through, even a few years ago, just giving me ideas and bouncing stuff off. So he's easily the person that I can answer that to.
Wow. Yeah, and it's funny how a lot of guys revert back to their high school coaches. Those jobs, these high school coaches all across the country, and here in Texas, we recognize them every week, and their programs. What a thankless kind of, you're in this certain level, you're not making gazillion dollars. but you're influencing so many lives, right? And it's great to hear that. And again, I'm sorry we lost them. That's a shame, but that's good to hear. All right, now here's the money question. All right,
Money
you ready,
question.
Dave?
Bring it,
Because
bring
I
it,
got
Tom.
to give you a money question. All right,
Bring it.
what is your projected record for 2024?
How many games are we playing? 16 games this year. 16 and 0.
There you go.
Excellent.
What I tell you,
Excellent.
great coaches are always going to say that.
Any other answer? I mean, that's what we're shooting for, right? I don't go into a
That's
game
it.
trying to lose. So
Right.
definitely, we're shooting to go 16 and 0. That's our goal. We win every single game. So anything less at this point would already be defeated attitude.
No, I'll tell you what, I love that answer.
Texas Pete out of Houston chiming in saying they have the coolest helmets in the league.
They do have cool
They really
helmets.
are. They really, really are.
How old are those helmet designs, though? Since
They're
95?
the original. They are the original. We haven't changed the jersey or the helmets, a tweak here or there, but the same. It's been the same thing since 1995. And I couldn't answer the question if who came up with it. I'm sure, Julie Pettit, our GM, could probably answer that if I called her. But yeah, it's been the same. So a lot of teams go through rebrands and change their logos and change their mascot. Ours has been the same since we got here in '95, and people love
That's
it.
how dynasties are, right?
Yeah, it definitely. You couldn't change it now if you wanted to because
we would,
people would be coming literally storming
They'd hang Dave.
the barn and the well. Yes, yes.
Somehow it would be my fault too.
Exactly.
Isn't it always? But I gotta say that the fans have a real positive attitude because last year I saw a shirt that said, "At least our field looks great."
It was a great shirt. And here's the funny part about that, because we took some flack for that. When I told people, they thought I had no idea it was coming, and I said, "Hey, Julie brought that. Our general manager, Julie Pettit, who's worked for the Barnstars forever. Her dad, John Pettit, who we lost during COVID, was the president and GM for years here.
Great guy.
Instrumental with Jeff Lamberti in bringing the team back to Des Moines. But we talked about that. She said, "Hey, what do you think about this? We had a tough season. We had a ton of injuries. We weren't winning the games we should have won." And I said, "Hey, that might help us sell some extra T-shirts. They're certainly not just going to buy T-shirts because of what we're putting in the field." So we worked in unison together on that, and it was a great shirt. And we sold the crap out of those.
It's great.
It's a great shirt, and our field does look great. It's brand new last year.
Right. Okay, so Dave and I will talk. We were in different leagues last year, and we would talk all the time. We'll talk a lot this year, too, but we talk, and it's more, hey, how you doing? How's everybody? How's the family? How's the team? Blah, blah, blah. And, normal stuff, just checking in. And I remember, I don't know when it was. It may have been 3, 4, 5 games in. I said, how's it going? He goes, Tom, I've lost, how many starters did you lose to injury?
11.
Have you ever heard
wild.
that?
No.
I mean, that is the curse of the right on top of your head.
Wild.
11 starters. And then they go, make sure you win a bunch of games now, okay? So it's like, I'm trying to just, I couldn't even fathom losing 11 players. Starters.
Yeah.
What, your quarterback went out, the first game?
Sixth play of the second game after he passed for 220 yards and ran for 90 against Vegas.
This kid is he is incredible, right? And I watched the first game and I said, oh, damn, Dave's going to be tough to beat this year. He is going to be really tough to beat. And then, boom, nothing, and then the injury started. And,
all the working, all the game planning, everything that you built around.
Dave's like me. He's a 12-month coach.
Yeah.
He works 12 months out of the year on his craft. So imagine working all that time. I mean, that'd be like
gone.
You'd be like the dude from the Jets, and Rodgers goes down with the Achilles, right?
Yeah.
You're just kind of like, what? What'd I do?
I felt his pain. I could see it in his eyes. I'm like, I know exactly what you're doing, Robert Sala. I know exactly what you're feeling right now. That's how I was last year.
That's just.
At the end of the day, you have a group of players, and they're all important. But in pro football, with the way it's done now, your quarterback drives everything. So when you lose that guy, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, I commend you for what you did and how you did it through the rest of the year, because that is an incredibly difficult thing to deal with.
Coach, you'll have to tell me who Michael Kirby is, but he chimed in. We have a fan from Iowa on Branded here tonight saying we may have lost starters, but we came together as a family and finished strong.
There you go.
Gotta love that.
That is true. We did the first half was ugly. The second half we were competitive and won a few games and kind of got our feet back under us. But it took a minute to regroup after losing the quarterback and some of the other guys that were too hard.
Yeah. No, that is absolutely incredible how you came through that. But their fan base is going to, I don't know what's going on here.
Well, what we have is someone turned up the speakers on the television.
Oh.
So
okay.
Not only is Dave coming in, slightly delayed with some feedback there, we have additional sound that might be coming to the mic. And it's like we're singing Row, Row Your Boat here right now. It's a bit of a round.
Well, we got good guests, so that's saving us. So, Dave,
Oh, yeah.
before we let you go, is there anything that you want to say to the fans of the Iowa Barnstormers before you cut out?
No, not particularly. I'm just happy to be here and be a part of the show, and I'm looking forward to you being in the league. I saw the last draft of the schedule. I don't think it has us playing each other, but that could change before it gets finalized. And if we're not playing each other, we can talk a little bit more, maybe, than we might plan to if we're playing each other. But no, it could be a hell of an IFL season. I expect us to get back in the mix for the playoffs and push that way. So we're excited for the season to come and can't get here soon enough.
Well, brother, I wish you the best of luck, and as always, thanks, pal. And I'm glad to call you my friend, and I wish you nothing but great success this year.
Good
Thanks,
luck
guys.
in that
Appreciate
East.
you having me.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye now.
That was Dave Mogensen, the head coach of the Iowa Barnstormers. We did miss some business. We were in such a hurry to bring him on while we're in break. Lisa Hernandez won Six Flags passes for a family of 4.
Wow.
Just by being here tonight. And next time you come out here for the coaches show
That's a great
Branded,
gift, man.
it could be you next time around. And speaking of next time around, we did have another fan come in. Dante Eldridge said he liked the drip. Coach Manas referring to the shirt and the hat.
Dante is one of our new players.
And we'll definitely be
talking about him shortly.
Very, very shortly. And I wanted to remind the fans, and I guess ourselves as well, Coach, why do we do this? Why are we doing this coaches show again? Because there are reasons. It's not just because, we like hanging out together on a Wednesday night, but...
Well, I think that, the big thing is that we, as I said early on, we want to be transparent as a team. We encourage other teams to do the same thing, strengthen our leg, start communication early, keep your fans involved, and we'll talk about that with our season ticket subscription that went kabunkers.
Oh, yeah.
And we hit a volume that is I've never seen it before in the short time we've launched it. It's exploded. So if they're willing to invest in us, we need to invest in them, and that's by information right now until we can start playing football.
And we'll come back with the second quarter in just a moment. And our next guest, Mike Davis, head coach of the Las Vegas Nighthawks. And they have a lot of similarity between them and our program, and I'll highlight that as we bring him up next. You are watching Branded, the head coach's show. We'll be back with the second quarter in just a moment.
Dependability. It's expected by our customers, and it's demanded by me. I personally guarantee the certified techs we send to your home and the equipment we install are dependable. John Wayne's American Pride comfort systems are designed specifically for San Antonio's extreme heat and humidity and come with a lifetime warranty. Right now, get a complete new system with affordable monthly payments from $72, plus get no interest and no payments for 12 months. For comfort you can depend on, call John Wayne today.
It's so easy to love Pick and Pull. Why? How about the largest inventory in South Texas? How about the ease of finding your part with our interchange and real-time inventory search at pickandpullsa.com? How about an organized yard and maps to find your parts, plus a shuttle? At Pick and Pull, we make it easy to save money on the quality used auto parts you need at a price you can afford.
More to pick, less pull from your budget. Now that's Pick and Pull.
Honey.
And welcome back to Branded for what is now our second quarter. Or rather, second quarter. We're in the second quarter. We haven't made it through halftime
We're winning.
yet.
It's the second quarter.
And we are well ahead. And we're ahead in a bunch of things. And I guess we'll get to another head. Sorry, bad joke there. The head coach of the whoa. We got to add him, not remove him. Yeah, I got to change the setting. There it is. I'm new at this, Coach. A little slow. Coach Davis, the head coach of the Las Vegas Nighthawks.
Absolutely. Hi, Mike. How are you?
Good, Coach. How are you?
Good. I want to say something before we start. When I went through all my drama, we'll say, and I ended up here. The first guy to reach out as a head coach or anyone involved with the IFL was Mike Davis. And just to say, hey, congratulations. If you need anything, here's my number. Don't hesitate to call. And I thank you, Mike, for that. And, if I can ever reciprocate outside of a win, you got it.
Not a problem.
Not a problem.
I got to say, Las Vegas is a team that I'm going to love-hate throughout this year. I love a lot of things about Las Vegas. They have, I mentioned Iowa with 200,000 people as a population. Okay, Vegas has got a bit more with 65,000, but they have three other teams that play something called football in that city. The Raiders in the NFL, the Outlaws in the XFL, and the Posse of the Canadian Football League. They are competing, they're one of four competing for football entertainment dollars. And, it's only Las Vegas. There's only something to do every single night, but somehow you see the crowds there. Coach Davis, how in the world do you pull that off, especially, and here's the dark story, indoor football in Vegas, it's kind of a boot hill there. They've had the Sting, the Gladiators, and the Outlaws all come and go, and here are the Nighthawks.
Well, it's the ownership, too, now.
Right.
Now, keep in mind,
Bill Foley.
and Mike Davis there, and the ownership, and they know what they're doing. That's a first-class organization.
But let's have Mike tell us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. But, just like Coach Manat says, every team starts with first-class ownership. And, we have that in Bill Foley and FEG Sports. The secondly is we're not – other teams, we're on the Strip. We're not on the Strip. We're about 10 minutes outside of off the Strip in Henderson.
Just west of Paradise.
Yep. We have a brand new, 2 years old now, but it's still brand new, a $100 million facility that's state of the art. And people love to hear when you talk about the Vegas Nighthawks. They come running. Last year we had the XFL, the Vegas Vipers here as well at the same time. And fortunate enough for us, we were drawing bigger crowds than they were. So we have a loyal fan base, and Vegas is, and now everybody can see it's a sports town, and it's exciting times.
Oh, yeah. I mean, who doesn't like going to Vegas, right?
Yeah.
And the thing about
looking forward to it.
And Henderson's beautiful. I love Henderson. I actually looked at a house in Henderson before. years ago when Henderson was still a lot of desert, and but back then, and you knew it was going to get bigger and better, and the hardworking people in Vegas, a lot of them live in Henderson. So you create that fan base. You know, they own the team in their minds as fans, right? So that's a great thing. So Mike, let me ask you. I'll ask you the same thing I asked Dave. So, you mentioned about the franchise. You got great ownership. You got great facilities. I know a lot of teams are jealous of all the good stuff you have going on there.
The production is phenomenal. The light show.
Oh yeah, but I'm talking about forget all that. I'm talking about football. Okay. We have to say, yeah, it's a cool laser show. Yeah, it's a cool. We care about the football. And when you have good ownership that's willing to step in and give you all the tools you need to be successful, that Mike and I have talked about this a couple times privately, and we just said, how do you beat great owners? You can't. It all starts with them. And then, of course, a coach like Mike's caliber, and then you bring them in, and you always kind of hope when you get those situations that things work out, and I think they will for them. So is there anything you want to tell us more about the actual football operation side of the Las Vegas Nighthawks?
Well, Coach, I hate to correct you. It's actually Vegas. It's not Las Vegas. It's just Vegas.
Okay, Vegas.
Just
I'm
Vegas.
sorry. My bad.
Listen,
I've only been here a minute. Sorry about that.
Yeah, exactly. No, people do it all the time.
Okay.
I just think for us, it goes, I think you can echo it across with the IFL. It's just as far as, everybody puts on a great product. How people do it is completely up to them. We're fortunate enough to have a crew that does, we have the Golden Knights that won the Stanley Cup the finals last year, and they won the Stanley Cup. And then, we have a AAA affiliate called the Silver Knights. So when you come into our facility, you see branding for the Nighthawks and Silver Knights. They practice they have their own arena they practice at, and we have our arena that we practice at, which is actually the Dollar Loan Center. And we both play games there. So the football side of things, it's hard to beat, that goes, and everybody has their quirks, I guess I'll say, and their advantages. Some people, for Vegas, it's hot all the time. People don't like the heat.
Right.
And I'm okay with that. If that's the case, you go play in Iowa or Green Bay or something like that. But
sure.
I think every team in the IFL has an advantage for their market and their brand and what they have to offer.
Right. I agree 100%. Okay, so we were going to ask them some fun questions.
Yep.
Right? Okay. So they kind of get an idea about you. What would you say your favorite football movie of all time is?
The Program.
2 for
2
2.
for 2. That's
you and Mogensen. He said same thing.
I think really I got 2. I get The Program and any given Sunday. The Al Pacino speeches are priceless. So,
that's great.
That's kind of what I would have to say.
Okay. If you had to pick someone who influenced your career, either as a player or a coach, who is that one person that stands out to you? I know there's probably several, but
yeah, probably it started off with my high school linebacker coach and D coordinator, Vaughn Phipps. Just kind of taught me how to play the game the right way,
right.
and which obviously got me an opportunity to go to Virginia Tech, and the rest is history. So it would have to be him for sure.
Nice. See, high school coaches again influencing young guys. Okay, so the kind of teaser question is, if you had to project what your record's going to be in 2024, what's your record going to be in 2024?
I've seen the schedule, so it's not friendly.
Yeah.
It's not. I genuinely think we're a 9-win team.
9-win team. Gotcha. I'm putting that in my book.
All
right.
But I did have a follow-up to that, Coach. The West is a very, very, very competitive in the IFL, a very competitive division. Has it gotten better in the 2 years? I mean, is it just keeping better?
Well, I think you look at, in my opinion, what drives leagues is quarterbacks. And I think nothing against, the guys from TJ Edwards is not in Frisco anymore. You got Moog's guy DP is coming off an ACL. But you look at the West, you have Drew Powell's been the MVP, Dalton Steen's been the MVP in Bay Area. You got Daquan Neal, who we has been the MVP. You got Nate Davis, who is undoubtedly probably the best quarterback besides Chris Dixon, passing quarterback to ever play in the IFL. It makes it difficult because you're playing against great QBs every single week.
Yeah, I agree with that. And now you got Sam Castronova to deal with too.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. Like, I knew Sam from his college coach at Bethel. So I knew about Sam. Obviously, he went to the NAL for whatever reason, and I'm excited to see how he does in this.
Yeah,
obviously,
we are too. And we're excited to see everybody. And one of the things that it was funny because we brought the coaches in this weekend for our combine, and resounding across the board, they're excited about going against really good coaches this year. And I think that's the thing that if you're a coach worth your mustard, they want to always go against the best, and that's going to be the most fun. There's some legendary coaches in the IFL, and it's going to be fun going
Coach, I think it comes down to, you've been in IFL, you've come from another league, and nothing against any other league. This is not to talk bad about them, but you get in the quote unquote the arena style game, and you can run 3 or 4 plays, and hey, if you got better players, you're winning. I think in the IFL, a lot of it comes down to adjustments and how you prepare. You can see a team that's run heavy one week, and then they come out and go empty the next week, based on what they think is positive and how they're going to win. So I think that's the fun gamesmanship part of this IFL.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. No, it's definitely going to be an upturn. So we're excited about it.
16 teams to watch. 8 in each conference.
And only one can take home the trophy.
Yes.
So that's how it usually works, right? So, hey, Mike, before we let you go, and thanks for spending time with us, you want to say hi to family, talk about your tribe, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, my wife, I have a 6-month-old son, or we have about to be a 7-month-old son, so he's a little tank, and my wife is a trooper because my wife's Canadian. And I met her when I was in the CFL, and so we just started our whole process with immigration and stuff like that. So it's obviously behind every good coach there's a great wife, and we can't do what we do without them. So
no,
hats
100%.
off to her.
I've been on calls with Mike where I hear the little guy. They got their hands full. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so. I guess I'm good. Any parting shots, Mike, before you go?
No, Coach. I'm looking forward to it, man. Like I said, it's fun times in IFL, and it's only going to get better.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you so much for coming on.
Not a problem.
And did we have any questions from fans? Did anything come up, by the way?
I didn't have anything. I just had another comment from Jim Mernier. We were talking about owners. Said owners with a proven track record. I'm not quite sure what he meant by capitalizing A and in quotes.
Yeah, he's saying how great their ownership is a proven track record.
Well, I would also say another thing, again, this is not on the football side, having an NHL owner means you've got a marketing engine already there in place. You know how to present.
But you're missing the whole point, though. He didn't become an NHL owner because he's not a smart businessman.
Right.
And it all starts from that. And then, oh, by the way, he owns this and this and this and this. But the reason he owns all that is because he had the foundation. You used a great line last week. What are your assets? A great owner is your best asset. It's your best asset. And I don't care what team you're on, NFL, CFL, doesn't matter. IFL, if you have a great ownership group, that's your number one asset. And then your players, coaches, and everything that goes after that. But without them, none of this is possible.
And you surround yourself with the best people you can get, and you get that kind of quality organization.
There you go.
And
that's why Mike's there.
Absolutely.
There we have it, yeah.
Well, Mike, thanks again, buddy. I appreciate you.
Not a problem, Coach. Ralph, I appreciate it.
Look forward to seeing you down the road. Okay.
Likewise.
Thank you.
All right,
thanks,
guys.
pal. All right, bye now.
That's been Mike Davis, the head coach of the...
How do you not love these guys?
Oh, they're awesome.
Right, that's what
this
I'm
is
saying.
the brotherhood.
And I want our fans, I want all fans of the IFL to get to know these guys and to get comfortable in the relationships when they see them. Hey, coach, hey, when they're on the sidelines. These guys walk up and down the sidelines like I do. And when you're going down the sideline and you're in opposing teams, I've been treated very, very well by a lot of opposing fans. I've been treated very, very bad by a lot of opposing fans, but it's because they're passionate, right? And the thing about it is that you build these relationships, you continue to grow the league, continue to grow the product, and no one team can grow a league. And that's the whole point of this show tonight, is that it takes all of us to be involved in the success of others, right? And we can't be successful unless they're successful and have a good year, and Dave doesn't lose, 11 guys to injuries, and
that's just phenomenal.
Which is crazy. And Mike, has all these teams in his market and he's thriving. I want to know that formula. I mean, that's the thing I want to learn. And and the only way you're going to learn that is by talking to other coaches, owners talking to owners. We had an owner in the other day from another team in the IFL, and he just stopped by. And we had a great conversation. I'm not going to say who it was, but he helped us. He was talking to James, hey, here's what we do. Maybe you want to try this and this. That's what we need, okay? And I'm going to say it until I'm blue in the face. We're a small fraternity. When we all quit acting like elitists, and I'm not saying we do, but if we don't act like elitists and we count on each other, we're going to have a thriving league for years and years and years and years to come. So.
Yeah, I've said this before. You've heard me say it, Coach. Teams on the field compete. Organizations need to cooperate.
Right.
Because this is in the end a product. We are competing for entertainment dollars, and the organizations need to work together to create the unified product that everyone appreciates. And boy, we come back with the third quarter, we're going to have the unifier.
We got the big boss on the phone or on the line. So yeah, we're going to make sure.
Two top hands and the range boss, or the ranch boss. Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
When we return, that's going to be Todd Tryon when we come back for
Commissioner of the IFL.
For the third quarter. You are watching Branded. Let's see here. I'm going to pull that down. Again, wow, goofed up here again. Yeah, pull down the second quarter as we head into the third on Branded, live from Walk-Ons here in northern San Antonio.
Quality. Here at John Wayne, it's not just a word, it's our foundation. From the people we employ, to the service that's provided, to the equipment that we design and install, quality matters. For nearly 20 years, providing quality Texas comfort to the San Antonio area communities has been our highest priority. Right now, get a complete new system with affordable monthly payments from $72, plus get no interest and no payments for 12 months. For quality you can count on, call John Wayne today.
For generations, the family recipes at Carrabba's Italian Grill have been bringing people together. From the sweet smell of our scratch-made sauce to our rich layers of lasagna, we believe food made with love leads to tables filled with laughter. Dine with us or order out at Carrabba's.com.
And welcome back to Branded. And now it's time for the second half. And are we a second half team? Well, tonight we might be.
Yeah.
As we bring on the commissioner himself. Before I do that, I want to mention real quickly, Tim Kyle during the last break won a 2 foot by 2 foot big gunslinger decal.
Truck decal.
And it could be you next time if you come out and join us here on Branded. And joining us on Branded now is the commissioner of the IFL. Here he is himself, Todd Tryon. How are you doing this evening, sir?
You know, guys, I'm doing great. I appreciate the invite.
Well, nice to have you, Mr. Commissioner. We appreciate you taking the time. I know you're swamped right now with everything going on, but we do appreciate it. And I want our fans, since we're new to the league, to get to know how involved you are, the things that you've done for this league, the reason it's growing exponentially the way it has. You're a great part of that, and we know that, and we want to make sure that you get recognized for that from our fan base as well. So thank you again for coming on. I know we have a couple questions. I know the board's going to blow up.
Yeah, I know Keith Kowach from Gone Country Hats is probably going to ask, what hat size are you? So we can size you up for the new gunslinger line. Not that you'd be showing any favoritism.
No, we'll get it. Listen, we can't just get him a gunslinger. We'll get him a Yellowstone or something, and get him a cowboy hat when it comes down. So
what hat size?
A 7 5/8.
All right, you got that,
That is a
Keith?
very popular number around
That's my
here.
size. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Okay, so, Mr. Commissioner, we wanted to talk to you about, first of all, we want to talk about the schedule. How hard is it putting together a schedule with 16 teams throughout the United States?
Can you see it in his eyes?
Yeah, it's
a
brutal.
1,000-yard stare right there, right there. If you've never seen it before.
Yeah.
It's brutal. There's a lot of moving parts that go along with it. You know, it's something that people don't understand is, you know, everybody wants to start that mid-March, third week of March, but when it comes to providing dates, there's usually only a couple teams that have it because you're fighting hockey, you're fighting basketball, you're state basketball, you're fighting state wrestling, you got state volleyball for some places, and you know, you just don't have the dates. And so really it's about mid-April when you get the dates to where when you're dealing with 16 teams, you have to have 8 dates available for everybody to be playing. And if you don't have 8 available, that means somebody's sitting in a bye, and you have to strategically place those buys out, you know, so people aren't having back-to-back buys. And you kind of break it apart. There's 2 ways you can break it apart. And obviously we've got conferences to where you've got 8 teams in one conference, 8 in another. And you know, you're really focused on the finance side of things. You want the conference teams to play each other, so you're not flying all over the map. And so that's where you first start is you break it down by conference, and then you break it down. We're a 16-game schedule, and so you take a look at the first 8 and the last 8. And so you want to try to spread your buys out amongst the, you know, those 2 sets of 8, and then you're trying to strategically place some competitive games throughout it. And then you look at, okay, who can I have San Antonio play out of conference to where it's an intriguing game?
Right.
Well, obviously you've got Frisco right there. That's going to be a rivalry for you. So you want to make sure you try and get a home and away with them. You've got Tulsa that's just up the road, and so there's just, you know, there's a lot of strategies that go involved with putting it together. And then you've got, you know, certain teams that have requests where they want to, you know, make sure that they've got a home game for Memorial Day weekend because, you know, they really do things the right way. And some request Easter weekend, and some request 4th of July weekend. And you just got to take all your requests, plug them in where you can. At the end of it, not everybody's happy, but I believe we came up with a schedule. It's about as good as you can get.
Right.
I said it's about 97% what it should be, and really excited to release it.
When is that going to be released? Do you know?
Tuesday, November 7th is 1 o'clock is our target here.
Nice.
Okay, well, we have a date and we have a time.
Yeah.
Now listen, man. As I sit here and say that, I mean, you just got to put a schedule put together. You get it approved. You send it back to the owner saying, "Hey, confirm this with your arenas," and your arena comes back. You know, all it takes is one team for their arena to come back and be like, "Oh my gosh, we booked a concert. We lost that arena," and it's a domino. It absolutely resets the entire schedule. It takes about 6 to 8 hours to produce a schedule. I did many drafts, so I can tell you how much time. My family's thankful that we got a final schedule because they're the ones that really got to take the brunt of it.
No, I bet. Well, we dealt with that. Then throw in graduations, and then throw in all those and civic events and state dinners and and it just what a nightmare that was. But yeah, it's part of the deal. It's a very it's a job I'm so glad I'm not involved in. That's for sure. So, what would you say, in your own words, is the most gratifying thing about being the commissioner of the IFL? If you had to pin it down to maybe a short kind of synopsis, what makes you feel good about getting up every morning, doing your job, and going from there, I guess?
I would probably say it's the reason I owned a team. I owned a team for 10 years, and I started as a player, and then I became a coach, and then I bought the team I once played for, and so I've gone through that whole process, and at the end of the day, what we're all about is we're a platform to advance your life. And so many people advance it in different ways, and a lot of people come into this game hoping to advance it on the field, but realistically, it's how are you gonna use this platform to advance it off the field? And that's really where I took advantage of it was, I used this platform to network myself and meet people, and I ended up building a large gym operation that made sense. That when I bought the team, it was kind of my marketing arm for all my gyms and supplement business. And so I'd say the most gratifying thing is, to this day, sitting here walking around Sioux Falls, meeting or seeing players that I recruited into the market, knowing that they turned around and met a girl and got a legit job and are contributing to the community. And so, that's really the most gratifying thing is knowing that you're providing a platform for these players. And to this day that, hearing the other owners talk about players that settled into their market and became, pretty big deals and are contributing back to their communities.
It's funny you bring that up. There was when I was in Green Bay for a season, there was a player, BJ Hill, and BJ, legendary player in your league and in our league now. And I remember I was asking him, I said, were you from here? Nope. I started playing here. Then he opened his gym there. Then he built his relationships there. I don't think BJ paid for a dinner ever. He was an icon, and he was a transplant, I think. I'm 90% sure that he came into that situation and stayed. And I tell these kids this all the time, is that when you come in, this is an opportunity at 24, 23, 25 years old where you can establish yourself. This could be your NFL. This can be your NFL. It doesn't have to, you can get the same benefits, maybe not financially, but you can get the same benefits long term in your life. And look what he did as a player, coach, owner, gym owner, continued on with his businesses, and that's a great story, and one that these young men, I hope, are listening to, because that's great. So I guess the easy question is, I think I know the answer to this, but I want you to put it in your words. What are you looking forward to most in 2024?
How we as a league take another step forward. I feel like every year we've been taking a step forward, and any business you're trying to, hey, how can we get better this year? How can we outdo what we did last year? And man, we had a monster year last year, and we created a lot of new partnerships and brought some new teams in and attracted some new coaches. And this year, we took another step forward. We were able to maintain all 14 teams, and then, we brought in what we felt were the top two targets out there in Jacksonville and San Antonio. And so, we've grown to a 16-team league. And so on the field, we're going to get better. We went from a 15-game schedule to a 16-game schedule. And the competition is going to be unbelievable. But how can we take another step forward? Last year, we partnered with the XFL. We created a three-year relationship with CBS Sports. We introduced our IFL Live, which is our red zone concept. And we created some other partnership. What can we do better this year? How can we get better as a league? And that's really what I'm looking forward to is at the end of the year, When you sit there and the game is completed and everybody's left the arena, and you go back to your hotel room and you take a deep breath, you reflect on what you just accomplished. And I'm looking forward to that feeling and seeing how we took a step forward.
Yeah, perfect answer. I mean, how can you give a little love to our newest franchise coming in 2025?
Absolutely, Indianapolis. It's up there in Fisher, is the name of the suburb of Indianapolis, and that's where I stayed when I was up there. We introduced them, and it's about 125,000 is that community, and they're building themselves a little sports hub there and a brand new arena. And the Indy Fuel is the one who bought the membership into the IFL, so they'll utilize that infrastructure. We've already got a couple of those going on here with Tulsa Oilers and Vegas Nighthawks, but unbelievable ownership group. They fit geographically perfect. We look for four things when we look for new teams and expansion. Is number one, the quality of the ownership. Number two is geographic location. Number three is relationship with the arena and the quality of the arena. And number four is the ability to operate a team. Those are the four things that we look for when we look to expand. And man, they checked all those boxes.
Yeah, back in the old days when we would have to go play in Indianapolis, battles, wars would be indoor wars in Indy. They've got great fan base and it's a great city. And if you're ever in Indy and you don't go to St. Elmo's Fire, something's wrong with you, because that's one of the best restaurants in Indianapolis. It's fantastic. It's just, that's a great market. They're going to do very well. I know they're going to do very well. And I'm sure there'll be more added, so we have an even number by next year. So, because you think he has trouble with the schedule now, going with an odd number of teams, then you got a real problem. So, but and you said something to me when we talked the other day about we doubled, or what did we? Was it our viewership, or what was that?
Yeah, our viewership on YouTube the last 2 years, each year, we've doubled the viewership.
Right.
And I anticipate we'll do it again. We continue to add, big brands to our footprint. And, as we've introduced gaming, that was another thing we brought on board this last year, is our partnership with Simple Bet. This year, when our season kicks off March 16th, from March 16th to the conclusion of our season, 128 games. Every single game will be on some type of gaming platform where you can bet every single play. If you're into that, if you're not into that, you can bet for prizes, and so that is going to increase our viewership. And so each of the last 2 years we've doubled our viewership, and I anticipate we should do that and then some.
Well, I know on behalf of Don Reckler and James Stubing, we're very honored to be in the IFL, as I am, and we're looking forward to. He said it. What a competitive season's ahead of us.
Oh.
Especially out west. Holy cow. I'm not taking anything away from the East, but we're in the West, and boy, is it going to be some fun. It's going to keep getting better and better, because I think coaches, I think players are starting to realize, that this is where you want to be if you want to play true indoor football and you want to have all this stuff that the commissioners talked about as part of it.
Biggest names, biggest crowds, biggest events.
And the historic teams,
right?
I mean, the Arizona Rattlers, the Iowa Barnstormers, just when you say those, and there's many, many more, but when you just say those two names, they're the cornerstone of indoor football. So, it's going to be a fun year, Mr. Commissioner. We appreciate you. Anything any parting words you want to give before you go?
We got a whole bunch of questions for you, too.
Never mind. We'll do the questions. Okay, go ahead.
Definitely give the commissioner the last word, starting off with our friend from Houston, Texas, Pete. How does the XFL partnership benefit the IFL, and how will the upcoming merger with the USFL affect that, if at all?
So how it benefits the IFL is it gives you a fast track to advance on the field. And when I say a fast track, when the XFL is looking for a player, they will look at our league first, then looking at another Rolodex. And so, I mean, we had so many players sign on here this last year, and the XFL also liked it because when they would release a player for whatever reason, they would send him back to the IFL, know he's still playing, know where he's at, and so when it came time for them to call him back up, that they know exactly where he's at, he was getting taken care of, and he was playing, and so that's how that benefits. As far as the merger goes, I mean, the merger it's a big question mark right now. Right now it's getting approved through like, I don't know how the Department of Justice gets involved in something like this. I think they got better things to do. But
probably the tortious interference that we always fear.
I don't know. They worry about monopolies, or I don't know what it is. But there's some shuffling going on behind the scenes as far as personnel goes, and obviously the people we communicated with to create this relationship is trying to keep the same position as they merge into the leagues. And you kind of got to let all the dust settle, and the people that's the reason why you build good relationships, is because you never know where those relationships are going to take you. And we believe the right people are going to stay in place to allow our partnership to stay in place.
There are several questions around the schedule. Ducon from Arena Football Statement asked, how much does potential television intrigue influence the matchup decisions, again, if at all?
We don't look at I don't look at that. I mean, I'm looking at putting together a competitive, balanced schedule that financially makes sense. And it's a strategy that, there's some teams that you strategically their last game of the season is a playoff game on paper. Now, listen, anything can happen. Anything can play out. I sit here and I handle all the transactions, and I see everybody's rosters, and I see who's putting what together. And based on that, there's some teams on paper that are more competitive than other, and because of that, they'll have a more competitive schedule. And so the TV side of things doesn't really matter. Our job is just to put the best matchups that we can, so every single weekend you got something to tune into.
And Chris Vias from the Pirates, he's been trying to get in here with multiple questions, and I'm not trying to keep him out. Not trying to keep the Pirates at bay, but he says Saturday game 7:30 is his favorite start time. How much did that influence you?
Well, he doesn't have kids. that I'll tell him. That 7:30. As an adult, you love the later start, but we really market to the kid side of things. We're a very family friendly product, and it's tough come 9:30, and you've got a 4, 5, 6-year-old sitting there that he's checked out and ready to go home, and it's only the third quarter if you kicked off at 7:30. So that's what makes that late time zone a tough time to start.
Our fan base loves 3:00 games.
Right, you said that.
They love 3:00 games, and which is nice because we're central. So for a lot of the country, half the country, it's a 4:00 game, and for the other side, it's a 1:00 game. So it works out really well. Our fans love 3:00 games. That's just okay. What else do we have?
James Bernier wanted to know, how far in advance do you need to know the arena availability when putting together a schedule?
So we request dates back in our championship game in August is when we want you to show up with your dates. And this year, we're late getting the schedule out, probably, 2-3 weeks behind. And it's because it was such an odd off season with a lot of movement that was going on. We've had a couple teams that have changed venues, which takes a little bit for that to get into play. And so if there's ever an off season to, let's don't rush the schedule out. Let's get it right. This was the one. And so, I'm a little frustrated that we're going to get it released here November 7th, but it still gives every team 4+ months to get out there and get their seats sold and get their sponsorships. But James, it's usually that second to third week of August is when we want those dates.
Gotcha.
Following on with what happens in the offseason, Texas Pete following up, have you considered doing the IFL Week in Review in the offseason?
I have, and we're gonna. I don't want to just do a show to do it. We're actually looking at doing a reveal to the schedule here this next week on a show. But as far as doing a weekly show, I don't want to waste anybody's time. I don't want sometimes when you show something too much, it becomes white noise and people quit tuning into it. And so,
Right.
I learned the less you say, the more equity in your words. And sometimes when it comes to, some of these shows, I kind of follow suit that, hey, when a show's coming, there's some big information and tune into it. It's not just something I'm trying to do weekly.
Right. Gotcha. Well, we battled with that here, but being that we're I don't want to say we're rebranding, but we're a different league, different coaches, different players, everything that we're doing. We just felt compelled to let our fan base know so they could be educated when they're getting ready to make their purchasing decisions for season
competing
tickets.
for that entertainment dollar.
We are definitely competing for that entertainment dollar. And we've had great success with it. And, we're lucky to do it, but I totally get what you're saying in relationship to a league-wide type announcement every week. Okay, what else? Anything else that we want to...
Well, Jim wants to know who the dancing partner will be for Jacksonville in the Southeast.
The dancing partner? You mean the rival?
Will Jacksonville have a dancing partner in the Southeast? I will assume he means rival. So what he's saying here is the Sharks are going to be unrivaled in the East?
No, they got Mass.
Yeah.
Mass is going to be... Mass would have something to say about that.
Oh,
There's multiple teams that's going to have something to say about that.
Yeah, I'm sure there are. Yeah, okay.
Chris Vaya says he'd actually agree. It's hard to do every week in the off season.
It is.
And here we are.
We're
trying.
We're trying. Anyway, but listen, thank you again, Mr. Commissioner. Appreciate your time. I know the fans appreciate it around the league. We've had a couple coaches on tonight, which is great. I'm a firm believer in, all of us sharing is, some information so people get comfortable. I mean, how do you beat Iowa and Vegas? I mean, right? They're great ownership, great teams. If you were going to pick a model, those would be two good models to start with.
Absolutely.
So it worked out really well. We appreciate your time again, and that's
Chris Kawach says 7 5/8. Got it. Get a hold of me, Commish.
Okay.
So
I'll take care of you.
Yeah, we can
I'll
put
take
that
care
together.
Of
We can put that together.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thanks again. Appreciate your time.
I appreciate it, you guys. Appreciate I'll hop on here anytime you need it. So you guys enjoy the rest of your night.
All right, we'll have you back for sure.
Thanks again. That was the commissioner, the one and only of the indoor football league,
the big boss,
Todd Tryon, here on Branded. What a get!
Yeah, he's, he gives you that comfort that you're being led as a league, and he's a very good commissioner. He's passionate about what he does. I don't think I've ever called him and not reached him. And if I have, it's an immediate call back, which is great. And I had that relationship with Chris Siegfried, too, in the NAL. I thought he did a hell of a job, too. But the thing about it is, it's look at Goodell. I mean, he gets up for the draft, they boo him for 20 minutes, right? I mean, it's a thankless job,
Absolutely.
really, at the end of the day with the fans. But I wanted the fans to know the guy behind the title, understand all the stuff he's doing on all of our behalfs, all of the team's behalfs, all of our fans, all of our business partners, all of our owners. And when you hear him talk, the interesting thing is he sounds like he's created a business model that works in professional football. And that's what a lot of these leagues don't have, is that business model. Because at the end of the day, if business isn't good and you're not doing it, it doesn't matter how good your football is, no one's going to watch it.
Well, Tryon's had built two businesses back to back, the gyms and the supplements, so he knows.
Well, not only that,
the risk of the business.
He's won like 9 championships.
Right.
I mean, the guy knows football, and played at Virginia Tech. You're no slouch when that happens either. So, fine, your phone went off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should have turned it off. So I guess that'll take us into the fourth quarter.
Fourth and final quarter. Yes,
all right.
sir.
Well, we'll be back for the fourth quarter when we return here on Branded. And I've completely not been prepared for this at all. So let's see how we do moving out of this one.
dependability. It's expected by our customers, and it's demanded by me. I personally guarantee the certified techs we send to your home and the equipment we install are dependable. John Wayne's American Pride comfort systems are designed specifically for San Antonio's extreme heat and humidity and come with a lifetime warranty. Right now, get a complete new system with affordable monthly payments from $72, plus get no interest and no payments for 12 months. For comfort you can depend on, call John Wayne today.
Honey.
And welcome back to Branded from Walk-Ons, 1400 Pantheon Way. Ralph Judkins along with General Manager and Head Coach of the San Antonio Gunslingers, Coach Manas. While we were at break, a game-worn player jersey was won by Sandra Lopez.
Yeah.
And a family 4-pack to Six Flags won by Claudia Sauceda. And next time, it could be you if you come out and join us for Branded, especially here in the fourth quarter. And it's all going to come down to this, as the cliche goes.
We wrap it up.
Our fourth quarter here. Well, the big question, everyone's going to ask is, okay, so we had a combine. What came out of the combine?
Well, first of all, there were some pundits on social media kind of poo-pooing the idea that teams are charging for a combine, and
right.
How can you charge for a combine, and how can you this?
I think the phrase was cynical money grab.
Yeah, and I responded, which I normally do, and I gave a litany of reasons why we charged a fee. But again, if I'm going to hold a combine, I want to make it a professional football experience for those that are participating, right? So first of all, we rented an unbelievable facility in D1 here in San Antonio. Secondly, we flew in every coach that was available. We only missed one, but we flew in all the coaches, put them up for the weekend so they could help with the evaluation. We had multi-video stations going so we could film the entire combine, so make sure we didn't miss anything. We had our full training staff there. We had our full marketing staff there with registration, and operations was there handling that. We had merchandise there in case anybody who wanted to come could buy something. We opened it up to our fans. I think we had over 100 fans at the tryout, which is crazy. We had EMTs that we paid for to be there just in case. Nobody does that. Right, we did everything, and then we gave them probably a $45 dry fit T-shirt with the combine, their own individual number on it for the film, so we could identify the players as part of registration. That stuff ain't free. That's one thing, but more importantly, if we wouldn't have charged it, we wouldn't have been able to give them all that without it being something ridiculous. I think we had over 45 people, 45 players there that had paid, and I don't think one of them walked out thinking they didn't get the full opportunity to make the football team.
They all got a look, and they all knew they got a look.
Oh, they got the look. They got a little coaching up for some of the younger players and experienced players. They had very candid, transparent conversations with coaches. I know I had a dozen where, there's some kids that just weren't there. I would say there's very few, but there were several that probably are a couple years away from doing one of those. But they got the experience now, and they know how to prepare for the next one. And then there were some that were very, very close, like whether or not to get offered a contract. But we offered 4 contracts at the Combine, 3 of which have signed. One, I'm working on some issues with him that are unrelated to him wanting to be here. He wants to be here very much so, and we want him very much. But it's just, and I'll go through that real quick with you. So Nicholas Smith, I want to say he came in from Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, he was we were told
He's
there
the
was
one
a guy
who's
drove
built
through.
like Apollo Creed.
Yeah, and like you said, drove through the night like the other player had.
Yeah,
that you'd signed. He was our long drive story.
He is a tremendous upside, a linebacker, great physical qualities, but also super coachable during the drills, super agile. You can tell he's a hitter. We didn't hit, obviously, but
when he was coming through that 40, it's like I'm glad I wasn't at the other end.
He was pulling up on a lot of the combat drills. So we're lucky to have Nicholas. Then there was Dante Eldridge, and Dante was actually on the show commenting about my swag. But Dante is a young player. I think he's only 21 years old, and he's a relatively young player with a tremendous skill set, and his skill set it goes around jiu-jitsu and football. And when I watched him, we put him in some one-on-one drills, and on his punch alone, he was knocking people over, and I'm talking good people. Actually, 1 or 2 that we signed, and he is that good. So I think he's a developmental guy that we'll bring in. We'll coach him up real hard. We love coaching young guys up like that, and I think he's nothing but upside.
So he's a name to watch out for, Dante Eldridge.
I think so. I think Dante, as long as he comes in prepared, he's going to be very competitive making this football team. The next one, he was kind of fun, is Robert Fuentes. Robert, he passes the eye test. I think he's 6'5", 245, looks like an athlete. And we get ready, and I had one group before them, and then the big guys came over, the defensive linemen, offensive linemen, linebackers. They came over to run their 40, and I was working the 40 station. And he got up, he ran it, and I looked down, talked to Coach McKinney down there, and I said, "What do you run?" And he said, 4.5. I said, "Oh, okay. Not bad for 245 and 6'5" and plays defensive end." And I thought, well, maybe they screwed up on the clock. Well, there's 3 of them timing.
Right.
So actually, DJ Myers came out and helped as well for the Combine and talked to the kids about opportunity. And then he ran the second one, and I said, "When you're down there, tell me what you ran." And he came back and he said, "I ran a 4.53. So I'm thinking, if this guy runs another 4.5, I'm going to have him run one more. Now, I had most kids run only 2.
2, right.
And I said, "No, I want you to run a third one." And he had just gotten back, and I thought, okay, I just want to see how athletic this guy is, or if that was a fluke. And he ran another 4.5. So I think I yelled to Coach, "Get him a contract." And we hadn't even gone to the skill set yet.
Right. It was real quiet. It's like, all right, are we sure? Is Coach serious? Is this bravado? And as soon as I heard him say it, I knew that was and people were scrambling around for contracts. We weren't ready to hand.
Yeah,
we weren't ready with the pens for that yet.
What's funny is the crowd went nuts too.
Yes,
because they were watching this unfold,
and
cream always rises to the top in anything we do in football. One of the things that when I met my wife and we were just starting out in dating and relationship, and I would have a football game on, or I'd be watching film, or I'd be something, and I would say, "Come here for a minute," and I'd say, "Okay, watch this play. Who's the best player on the field?" And she'd go, "Okay, that guy." I go, "Yep, you're right. They stand out," is my point. So he stood out at that moment, and then some others were very close, and we're not saying no yet. We're just saying not right now. But it's amazing the talent pool. I think 3 out of the 4 that we're looking at came either from Texas or the surrounding states, like Oklahoma, right? So it's amazing down here, the talent pool. I made a joke to someone today. Well, it's James from Inside the Walls. We were talking on the phone, and I said, you could probably get away with just holding 3 or 4 combines and that be all your recruiting if you lived in Texas. That's how many football players are down here that are good. Texas, Florida, we were kind of joking about it,
right?
And I, the thing about it is these guys are so good. Now you add that with great coaching, Coach Fuller, Coach McKinney, Coach Johnson, Coach Richardson. You add that with great coaching, and I think there's going to be some special guys that no one's ever heard about before popping out, and that's exciting stuff. And I talked to a couple players from the former San Antonio team, and we had discussions also. They had come out and to watch and to talk, and had some great conversations with some good young men. And like I said, right now I think we're at I want to say 26 or 27 athletes that I've signed since I've been here, and we'll probably bring in somewhere around 35 to camp. So there's a few spots left. There's 8 spots that we're looking at. I'd say 8 would be probably the magic number. Still looking for a couple nice DBs to add to the mix. Always looking for linemen, like every other coach in the country. But you want to bring in the right guys. You don't want to screw up the formula at this point. The guys we're bringing in are already starting to gel together, and you got to be cautious of that too. So.
And we've got captains, obviously, that are already there in influence. You mentioned DJ Myers being there, talking, coaching.
Hey, I'll tell you right now, DJ Myers, Sam Cashinova, Cornelius Lewis, those are 3 captains right now. We're going to have a 4th that I'm going to let the 3 captains pick. And that's how I like to do it. And these guys all lead. Cornelius, before I came to the show today, rang me up. He says, "Hey, I found a really nice young lineman that I think would fit perfect with us." Well, that's like him telling me, "Hey, I found a guy that can date your daughter, and I trust him." I mean, that's when you get that kind of influence from a player that you respect. You want to take what he says seriously. I said, "Okay, let me get some film on him. Let me talk to him. Let me do my thing. I'm not going to just blanketly say yes, but but he's conscious of who he wants around him." Sam's the same way. Sam has probably sent 5-6 guys our way.
They know what you're looking for.
Well, he already knows, and he knows my style, and they know how I'm going to coach him and what I expect from him and what kind of person we want in the. DJ's learning that now, and he's gone through that learning curve already, and he's like, I feel like I've known DJ for 20 years, and I've known him, personally, on a personal level, for less than 2 months. Right? These are the kind of people you want around you. If I'm going to spend 5, 6, 7 months away from my family, I want to be around people I enjoy being around. And I want them to enjoy the people that they're around. So that's how we're trying to put together this football team. And I think when you do that, you've heard these coaches talk about it. It's about having family, creating a family atmosphere, creating the right culture, doing all that. You didn't hear a lot of X's and O's, so that's where we're at.
And so I think to summarize sort of what you're saying, if I dare summarize you, Coach, it's about values, that you have values that you share and common values. In the case, again, of DJ, there are things, you may not have known him long, but there are things that he shows, that he demonstrates that resonate and that proven out in his own personal life. And that's the kind of people we want to have around.
Well, yeah, if you take DJ Myers, Sam Castanova, and there's many more.
Right.
There's Isaiah Hardy, there's Harvey, there's a bunch of kids, the Vincent Gregory's, guys you may not know yet, but they're all the same way. But if you take just those three, because they're captains, I'm talking about them this way, and people give me so much crap. Like, how can you pick captains now? Because
you know them.
No, it's not that. They're the best of the best at what they do professionally and personally. I call Cornelius Human the best human I've ever met. That doesn't take anything away from Sam or DJ.
You've met a lot of people, too.
I met a lot of people, but I love Cornelius Lewis. I literally love the kid. And we didn't know each other before football, but everything he did was, I know he loves his family. I know that he'll do what it takes to win, but he'll also do what it takes for his fellow player and do all those things. But if you took those three guys and you put them in a bowl and you pulled out one versus all three, you'd be happy with either one, any of them. They're all the same guy. They're all the same character, vision, morals, ethics, family. They're all the same people. And you've heard DJ talk. We've had him on the show. He talks about his mom, the Wolf Pack, and how she raised those three boys and how they did what they did and all that. How do you not love people like this? That's when listen, fans of the Gunslingers, forget all the hoopla, forget all that. Just embrace these guys, because I'll tell you what, you're going to be so much happier that they're in your community now.
Well, speaking of other news in the community, do we have any other signings or any other key news that we're prepared to talk about tonight?
No. Nope.
Nope. Okay.
No,
Just
we're gonna wait.
sure.
We're gonna wait on those four.
Okay.
And the reason I want to wait on those four is I want to give them their proper forum to be talked about.
So what you're telling me is we've kind of won this game, and there's no point in padding the score at this point.
Well, and you know what? Part of it is we're doing rapid signings, but it's not by design. It's about availability. They become available. We sign them right away because we wanted them and we've been recruiting them. But in the same breath, I wanted to let them have a little bit of the stage too. And that's the other thing. Moving forward with the show, we're going to start bringing on people that we talk about all the big names, and we still have a few big names to go through yet. We still got to get Kali on here, and we got to get Cornelius on here. We got to get Hardy and Harvey and the big men on. I got to have my big guys on.
We got to make a lot more room here for that.
Nah, we'll do it on camera because they wouldn't fit. But when we do everything, I want to make sure that they get an opportunity to have their moment, because that's we don't get a lot at this level.
No.
So the one thing you can give them is show them the respect and love that they deserve as far as being the athletes they are.
And the sacrifices they make to play this game.
I don't think people understand the sacrifices an indoor football player makes to participate. A lot of these guys have good jobs at home in the off season, and they got to get a way to leave their jobs. Some of them are school teachers, some of them are in manufacturing, some of them are in office buildings, some of them are in really high-paying construction jobs, and they got to leave and then watch their income go,
right.
and then leave their family with all that's left, and just say, hey, sorry, I'll see you in 5.5 months.
and then go get beat up for those five and a half months. And
for jewelry.
And you mentioned construction. Yeah, I mean that's the start of the season when we start the season after the cold is over.
Right.
That's when the demand is.
Right.
And I think a lot of them end up taking a hit long term in their careers because they're not able to be there year round, and a lot of employers are like, I'm not so sure.
Oh, I've had players tell me that their boss said to them, just remember that if you leave, you don't have a job.
Wow. Thanks, boss. That's so helpful.
But then here's what I say. At 25, flip them off and walk out the door, because you only have a shelf life with football for so long. And the one thing you don't want to do is be an old man like me and look back and say, oh, I wish I would have played another couple years, or if I would only had this. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, man. You know, it doesn't work. Football players are perishables. We're just like a apple sitting on the shelf. You look bright and shiny, great, you know, for a while, and then eventually it's going to not be edible, right? Well, football players the same way. Eventually your body's going to tell you it's time to get out. Your family's going to tell you it's time to get out. Your circumstance is going to tell you it's time to get out. Don't ever quit playing football until you have to quit playing football. And I mean that 100%. And because Todd Tryon is a perfect example of someone who benefited from the game of football. He didn't say NFL and he didn't say XFL about himself. He said arena, you know, indoor football, to the next level, to coaching, to owning, to then opening his businesses and establishing himself. I can't tell you how many times I've had those conversations with players about you can have a very, very good life in indoor football.
It's kind of funny you mentioned the playing and still wanting to play. So I was running by D1 just before coming over here, and Phil Yaw's at the counter, and he's saying, it made me want to, I mean, because he was at the combine and helping us out there, that he was sore the next day, but he loved it, and it just reminded him he wished he could still play.
Oh, yeah.
Because the heart is still there.
As I'm trying to get out of my truck, I always feel like, you know, it's weird because when you wake up in the morning and you have a combine, you're so excited, and you remember the time when you were in a combine, or you remember the time before a game, and then you walk inside to shave or brush your teeth, and you see yourself in the mirror and go, what the hell happened? Where'd those 45 years go? You know? So, yeah, I totally get it. But he helped us out. Ray, if you're listening, thank you. Thank you to your staff at D1. Thanks for throwing balls for us and helping some of these young men, coaching them up. We sure appreciate you, and you're a legend, man. We appreciate having you in town.
We'll wrap up the game and come back with the meet and greet when we return. It's been All Saints Day, but don't go away. You are watching Branded.
Quality. Here at John Wayne, it's not just a word, it's our foundation. From the people we employ, to the service that's provided, to the equipment that we design and install, quality matters. For nearly 20 years, providing quality Texas comfort to the San Antonio area communities has been our highest priority. Right now, get a complete new system with affordable monthly payments from $72, plus get no interest and no payments for 12 months. For quality you can count on, call John Wayne today.
For generations, the family recipes at Carrabba's Italian Grill have been bringing people together. From the sweet smell of our scratch-made sauce to our rich layers of lasagna, we believe food made with love leads to tables filled with laughter. Dine with us or order out at Carrabba's.com.
Honey.
And welcome back to the meet and greet. Gunslingers win again. As we'll wrap this one up in the break. By the way, Charles Munn won the red Gunslinger hat.
Oh, that's a good hat.
In the final break. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a new design this year. And if you were here, it could have been you.
There you go.
As we wrap this one up and send this out.
Hey, Keith, we got to get a cowboy hat to give away one of these shows. So, just saying,
I'm
country.
sure he'd be.
Yeah. So, what do we have? Oh, let's talk about.
We did have a couple more comments. Chris Vyas said, Lions are looking sweet.
Oh, my Detroit Lions.
Yes, the Detroit Lions.
Hey, you know what?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe you own a couple Lions up north. I don't know.
No,
it'd be tough on them.
That's my team. That's my NFL team. He's doing a great job. They're really what are they, 5-2 now? I think. Just unbelievable. Yeah, the town's going crazy.
Doing well.
Oh, doing well.
And Jim Renier says indoor football is about community, not corporate or corporation greed.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
So we definitely want to thank our guests, and what a lineup it was. And folks, I have to give credit to my co-host here. He's the producer.
Did you talked about? Let's talk about Jim and the network.
Oh yeah, right.
I want to make sure that we give some love out to Jim and the Inside the Walls network.
Right.
That is now syndicating our show.
We're in reruns.
Yeah. And it was funny because the first one played, and it was the one where I was in the basement.
Right.
Yeah. But, yeah, you're able to watch, if you have a particular player or an interview we've done, you'll be able to see him again on that network. And Jim shared a beautiful post. I want to thank him again. He's been a dear friend since I got involved with the NAL back in the day. And now him doing this for the IFL, our team in particular, is just, I thank him, and I know he's going to broaden that scope out so other coaches can get on that as well. So I want to thank him on that. Then we got hit with some numbers, right?
Right, a few.
Well, let's talk.
James told us a few.
Well, I'll tell the James one about season tickets first, and then you can go into our numbers relative to the show. But James and I had a conversation, and I don't know if everyone's paying attention, but the subscription service to our season tickets is going ridiculously well.
It's so ridiculous, we're not going to tell you the numbers yet.
No, I mean, they're big
I'm
numbers.
not sure you'll believe them.
No, they're like in a matter of a week, the amount of season tickets sold has been astronomical. And we're not talking about nosebleed sections. We're talking about people buying them on the boards and in suites, and just because the subscription service is a fantastic idea. And James has been working so hard on getting that up and running. And I'll just say this for our fans, you best start, if you want a particular section or seat, you best start calling in and getting on that, because I don't really think they're going to last. And I'll be honest with you, I see sellouts in our future, and I hope it happens. And like I said, if this is any indication, this first week, good luck.
And they haven't even seen a schedule yet. Don't wait for the schedule, folks.
No, we're going to play 8 home games.
There's going to be 8 games.
You're going to get 8 home games. You're going to get everything. You're going to have a super competitive team, a team you can be proud of. I looked today, and I got a little snapshot of all the special event nights we're having. I'm not going to be the one to say that. I'm going to let people like April and operations and James talk about. But I mean, just unbelievable family nights, veteran nights, this, that, all these different things. The giveaways alone that we're going to be doing at the games. Obviously, the product on the field is going to be first class, but also everything else is going to be first class. Come on, you're talking about Don Rackler. How wouldn't it be first class? It's going to be first class.
So people that have been coming here for the last 2 years have seen the improvement, and they've seen the emphasis on the fan experience. It's only going to get better, folks, if you can believe it. And,
I'm a believer.
And speaking of getting better, you'd mentioned the numbers that I've been told. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 shows in a row, every one of them over 1,000 total impressions within 1 week. And we're also getting the echo, as you mentioned, on that first show. And in that first show, there were some things that we said we were going to do. You said we were going to do. And now I'm going to hold us to it because we believe in standards of performance.
Okay.
And one of those was at the end of every month, you were going to tell the fans whether they won the month. So, did the fans, Coach, win the month of October?
A resounding yes, for multiple reasons. The season tickets being sold, the merchandise being sold, the views on our coaches show.
Thank you.
Yes, thank all of you. Not only the people watching, the people attending. All those things are non-existent without our fans. All those things are non-existent without our fan base. So our fans resoundingly won October. And now our new goal is to win November and to supersede what we've accomplished in October. I mean, and I just want to put things in perspective. You can go to a game with 3,000 people, or you can go to a game with 10,000 people, 8,000, whatever, and be arm to arm with people, having fun, enjoying themselves, doing all that. You can make that all happen. And from a game standpoint, off season, how do I win? Hit the like button, ask questions, view the show, do all that. Well, Jim Meunier wrote the column, which we have nothing to do with, by the way. And right now, this is the #1 coaches show in the industry. And people will say, well, no one else is doing a coach show in the offseason. Well, it's not my fault.
Yeah, and that's also not entirely true because there are coaches shows going on.
There's a lot of coaches shows going on. And we're actually #1 in the industry right now, and that's because of you, the fans, that are taking time to watch. And, if you have ideas on content, if you have ideas on guests, anything that you want, we want to provide it for you. Believe me, this is more work for us.
Yes.
But it's a work of passion, and it's a work that we take pride in and all that. Now, we're going to have, in November, we're going to have Thanksgiving coming up. When Thanksgiving comes up, I'm going to go home for Thanksgiving.
Right,
okay?
please. Yeah.
I've been here for months. So I'm going to go home for Thanksgiving. And the week of Thanksgiving, no, we're not going to do a show a week of Thanksgiving. We're going to let you enjoy your families and enjoy that. And then the week after Thanksgiving, yes, we'll probably do a show just so I can tell you that the Lions won again on Thanksgiving. But other than that, we're going to have new information by then. We'll have new numbers. We'll have new players that you're going to want to meet and things like that. And then we'll do the same thing for Christmas. We'll take some time off for the holidays. I'm guessing we'll probably take from the week before Christmas till the week after New Year's, and then come back and talk about, because that's when we're in our final push. And we want to make sure that we don't get lazy as a fan base. We don't get lazy as a team, an organization, and we want everyone to be working hard. And we want to win January and February for sure.
Yeah, so we get closer and closer. At that point, we're getting under 100 days, and then it's the countdown to our first game. And can't tell you tonight, but we can tell you very, very soon. As the commissioner said, we should have a schedule released. He was shooting for next week.
I've seen the preliminary, and I will tell you, you want to get your 8 home games. There are going to be some doozies, especially the last game of the season, which I think will be for first place.
And where was that here? Texas Pete was asking, do you have to wait for the schedule to come out before buying season tickets? No.
You're buying 8 games is what you're buying, and all that goes with that. All the special events prior to the season, all the in-season events that only season ticket holders get. You're getting all that, and it was from Pete, right?
Yep.
And Pete, here's the other thing too, is that, just like your Netflix or your Prime or whatever you have, it's just it's a monthly thing. You don't have to come up with all of it at once, and that's what's so beautiful about this program, is that Don Rackler and James Stubing are sympathetic to the fact that, hey, it's much easier just to make that monthly payment than it is to have to come out with all that cash right before Christmas. But what a great gift, right? If you were going to give someone season tickets.
Absolutely. And the
and have 12 months to pay for it.
Yep.
And then be locked in on your price
forever.
In perpetuity.
Yeah.
So trust me, after we win and we have a great season, and just because the way things are, costs go up a little bit, or this happens, but just in general to do business, your price never changes. I mean, 3-5 years from now, you're paying the same price you paid in 2024.
That, and you're able to tell everyone around you, yeah, I was here when.
Yeah. It's like those commercials where they're checking into a hotel, and the one person paid 180 and the other person paid 90, and they go, how'd you do that? This is how you do that.
And now they know. Jim Renier with one of the last thoughts here is, this is the selling season. And from Texas Pete, he says, thank you so much. God bless you all, and God bless Texas.
Yeah.
Well, by golly,
God
that
bless
sounds
you.
like a good last word.
Well, Liliana, Mila, and Eli, I love you. It's time to go to bed.
This has been Branded for November 1st, 2023, recorded live on location at Walk-On Sports Bistro, 1400 Pantheon Way, San Antonio, Texas. And as always, folks, keep your guns up. Good night, everybody.